March Diversity Advisory Board meeting. We'll get started now, although I'm sure we'll have a few more folks trickling in the next few minutes or so, but we do have a pretty packed agenda and one agenda item that is actually missing from your agenda that will be sneaking in here today. So I'll just ask folks to be as efficient as possible throughout our meeting. So we'll get started by first me reminding everyone that the meeting is being recorded. Second, take a look at the board minutes from our retreat in February. And that was Saturday, February 20th. It does say Monday, so if we could just correct that. And then I'll just take any other revisions or comments on those at this time. And if there are no other comments, I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Raman. Do I have a second? Ahmed?
James, second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Minutes are approved. Thank you, everyone. We'll move on to public comment. Alexis, can you cue that up for us, please?
Yes, I've just added Carmen and Sharo from MISO because they have a couple slides to share and speak. So go right ahead, Carmen and Sharo. You're on.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you all. Let's see. So is this the public comment part? Okay, yes. So we just wanted to butt in and do a 5-minute announcement just on MISO services. And Chado here spearheads our office here in Beaverton. And what we do is economic services for small businesses. And so we just wanted the community and the group to know about it so that you can let other businesses know in the city of Beaverton. So go ahead, Charo.
Hi everyone, my name is Charo Reyes and we are located here in downtown Beaverton on 3rd in Washington, pretty close to the library. And we offer businesses, startups or businesses, they already have experience, so they are doing businesses from few years or many years. We can serve them and we can have different services for that. If we can see the next one, please. Oh,
I'm not seeing the screen share quite yet, so try again.
Okay, let me try again.
Yeah, go ahead and share screen.
Okay. All right, can you see it now?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So we are here since 6 years ago in downtown Beaverton, as I said, and then we offer our services to everybody who needs services in order to grow up their business. If they come to the office or they make an appointment, we can serve for 10 hours, and these services are free. After that, we can serve this client for 3 years if they have all the requirements that we need. And what is that? Just if they live in Beaverton, if they have the income that is needed. So we use the income limit qualification for this program. But if they have all these requirements, we can serve them for 3 years, as I said. And then what does that mean? So we can help them coaching one-on-one, and we have many different services here. Some of them are, for example, the long-term consulting is the 3 years coaching. And also we have market research. We have a specialist doing like a market analysis for our businesses. Also, we do classes and workshops. We have business building series classes English and Spanish, and we have them at least 4 or 5 times per year. So it's really, really important. If they have to take these classes, all these classes are free. Also, we support our clients in accounting, social media, digital marketing, and of course, sales. And this one individual development account, this I really love it because it's a savings account, but we match every dollar. And I'm sorry, here in this presentation says 3. For every dollar the clients save, we give them 5 now. In the past, it was $3, but now it's $5. So in the 6 first months, they save $600, and we match that by 5. So we give them $3,000 to invest in their business. And the beauty of this service, the product, I mean, is that they don't have to repay this money. It's basically free money for business, so they can invest and grow up their business. So they can buy equipment, or different other products that they need in order to the business is growing more. Also,
Okay.
we offer different loans. So we have the 4060, which is a forgivable loan. So we forgive the 40% of that loan. And also we have credit builders. So for people who doesn't have a credit, we offer this one-on-one credit. So it's just $100, but it's in order so they can have credit. So we help them to build their credit. And we have other services like term loans from $100 to $350,000, as you can see here. Refinance debt as well, and then commercial real estate loans. So just let us know if some of your partners or clients need one of our services. We are happy to see them. Now we're having like a one-on-one by appointment, but most of the time we can also help people through Zoom or Google Meet or by phone. So I don't know if you have any questions.
I think that was it. That was just our quick announcement, our little teaser there. So if you want to have us on your agenda next time with more participants watching, we can elaborate a little bit longer. We just wanted to let people know that we're here. We're serving underserved, under-resourced small businesses. We have financing, marketing, technical assistance, all the things that Shadow just shared. Our business building series now has over 50 to 60 participants weekly, and we're just here to support small businesses. So wanted to let you all know about this program because we know how much Beaverton is emerging in its diverse population. So thank you for having us.
I have a quick clarifying question, if that's okay. On the IDA account, is it $600 the max that small businesses can contribute to it, or is it 3,000?
No, it's 3 rounds. So in the first 6 months, they save $600, and then that's the first round. And they continue saving $100. And the second round is gonna happen after 7 months. And then we're gonna provide 3,000 more. And then the last round is happening in 12 months. So we are matching those as well, and we provide 3 more thousand. So in total is $9,000 that MISO provides to the participant.
The intention of the program is so that clients are building their assets for their business, as well as learning how to save in order to create more cash flow in their business.
Yes, Amen.
By the way, first I want to say Happy International Women's Day, and thank you for being a huge part from our community. Second, I want to ask about, like, do you will help the people who want to start their business, or just the business actually like developed?
Yeah, so we actually do startup businesses. Just know for the IDA, you do have to be an established business with some cash flow. But we've started many businesses here. Charo has started many businesses here. There's a strong Latino cohort actually in our program at this time. Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for our guests sharing that presentation with us tonight. Very informative. Alexis, did we have anybody else for public comment, or was that it?
Nope, that's all we have at this point.
Okay, thank you. Are you two folks able to share your contact information if anyone is able to, interested in reaching out after this?
Sure, we'll put it in chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll move on to liaison reports now, starting with Councilor Soucie, please.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to see everybody, and I'm glad y'all had a very successful retreat. It was interesting to read the notes from that. There's sort of a funny little parallel, or an interesting parallel coming up. But first, let me start by saying that one of the things that's occupying the council's attention, significant portion of it, not all of it, of course, is the recruitment of our long-term city manager. Mr. Wilson, our interim city manager, is helping us with a number of transition steps necessary for moving from our prior form of government to the council manager form of government. But his time with us will be limited to pretty much the first half of the year. And so we're now going through the early stages of the process of hiring the long-term city manager. The key thing that just happened late last week is the posting for the position was put out through the recruiter. It's on the city website. There's a page, if you just go to Beaverton's website and click the box for the city manager, you'll find information about it, and including a survey that was put together in order to get feedback from the general public about what kinds of characteristics and experience and qualifications are most important to people as we consider the decision about which of the many candidates to consider. I mentioned that just last week the position was posted, and I was told today that in about 4 days we've had 15 applicants already. So we will not be short of people interested in the position, but it is our mission to hire the best and most appropriate person for the city of Beaverton, which doesn't necessarily mean somebody who's been a city manager in 30 cities across the country. And it also doesn't mean necessarily somebody who has worked here in Oregon or here in Washington County. There's a number of factors that we'll have to consider. And one of those is going to be this public input. So we definitely want to take the advice of the public, the advice of our staff, and our own considerations in making this decision. Our hope is to make the decision sometime in May. And when we get to that point, there will be an opportunity for members of the public to meet the finalists that we've chosen through the preliminary rounds, ask questions, and we'll be paying attention to those questions and the answers that are given as part of our process of evaluating candidates. We went through a sort of similar process for the interim city manager selection, but it'll be a little bit different this time. And of course, the stakes are a little bit higher. So we're really keen to do this one right. Tomorrow is we have a council meeting, and this is where we are at last, a little bit later than usual. And that's partly because of all of our transitions. We're going to be talking about council priorities. We usually do it at a council retreat in January, but we use this year's retreat to get to know each other better, get to know the city manager, council manager form of government better, get to know the city manager. And so tomorrow night we'll have a discussion about council priorities for the year. And in doing so, we're going to be doing that in a review of the staff priorities as well. The main purpose of this year is to feed ideas in for staff to take on during the course of the year, with the understanding that we have some significant budgetary limitations because the COVID pandemic has affected city revenues in a number of ways. And so we're going to be a little bit careful about spending more money on anything as a result of our discussion of priorities. But given the fact that the Diversity Advisory Board just developed a set of priorities, I think you may find it interesting to look at the agenda bill on our meeting for tomorrow night of all the priorities. And I will warn you, it's a 13-page document with like 275,000 line items, of which only 30 are mine. Let's just say that our staff have been busy responding to the request to really develop a good, strong set of priority descriptions and program descriptions of work that's currently going on. Two other things I wanted to mention from the March 16th council meeting, which is a week from tomorrow. One is that it's actually not in the council, it's in the Bureau meeting, the Urban Redevelopment Agency meeting. There will be a presentation and a discussion about the Downtown Equity Strategy, which is a new program that is being done in order to make sure that downtown redevelopment proceeds in a manner that best supports all of the communities of Beaverton and not just traditional business communities. So I think it'll be really interesting for everyone here in the Diversity Advisory Board to at least take a look at the materials associated with that when they get published towards the end of this week. And if at some point in a future Diversity Advisory Board meeting, you want to give us some feedback on that equity strategy, we would certainly welcome it. The other things that we'll be discussing on the 16th in the council meeting, there'll be a presentation on the Portland Community College Future Connect program. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, I think you'll find it interesting. It's a way for Portland Community College to offer scholarships to first and family college attendees, including children of immigrant families and refugee families who would otherwise find it very difficult to attend college because of cost. It comes along with coaching on how to be successful in a community college environment. And it has proven to be a very successful program. And we've been funding minimum of 50 scholarships a year for the last 6-7 years, I think. There will be a continuation of the discussions that the Human Rights Advisory Commission had with the police department and some of the recommendations that they've made. So we'll be continuing that discussion. And we will be having a discussion about how and when to form a climate advisory commission or committee for the city of Beaverton. Lots of other things. Take a look at our agendas. Anytime you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to counselors and ask. There's no rule that says you can't ask us a question, you know, away from meetings. So feel free. And I'll add one question for you folks, and then I'll open it up for any other questions for you. And that is that we believe very strongly in the diversity, equity, and inclusion plan that this committee developed and updated recently, well, relatively pre-pandemic. But we're not the experts at how well we're doing at implementing it. Alexis and her team keep us informed about a number of things, but there are many items on there that cross departmental lines or involve departments that Alexis doesn't work for and that maybe we haven't necessarily spent as much attention on. So at some point, I think it might be useful for you folks to tell us what aspects of the diversity, equity, and inclusion plan that we're not currently doing very well at are most important to you, so that we can dive into those and try and pay a little bit more attention to those this year or next year or as we go forward. So just one of those things I wanted to throw out, and now I'll stop talking and see if you have any questions for me about council business. And with that, it's back to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Councilor. That was actually a really helpful presentation of all the upcoming agenda items from the City Council perspective that might be really interesting to us. I really appreciated that, and also really appreciate the question that you just posed to us that I think people probably need a little bit more time to ruminate on and get back to you with some feedback. Perhaps we'll create some agenda space for it in the future, but I appreciate that a lot. Thanks. We are on to our Beaverton Police Department liaison report. We don't have Karenna here tonight, so Captain Wandell and Lieutenant Stallingworth, if you guys want to take the floor now.
Yep, we're ready. Good evening, everyone. Got a couple quick topics. I know HR is following me, so I don't want to hold up human resources here. But the first topic is, if you go to the city's website, I think on the main page, the city is seeking community input for the naming of the Public Safety Center Plaza outside of our new building. So it's kind of a short one page on the city website. The instructions are pretty clear. You have to submit an application or suggestion, I guess, for consideration. And if you haven't been past the Public Safety Center after hours or after sunset, it's actually, the artwork at the plaza is actually pretty impressive. The first time it came up Hall Boulevard when the sun was still down with the lights and the artwork, it actually is, it's quite nice. So they did a good job. So, and the deadline for the submissions on naming, I believe, is March 31st. I'm scanning that real quick, so if I'm wrong, I'll type in the notes. And then moving on. So Katrina Rodriguez, our victim services coordinator, excuse me, is working with a couple different various organizations, including the district attorney's office. So April's going to be a busy month, not necessarily on good topics, obviously. It's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It's also Child Abuse Prevention Month. And then we also have National Crime Victims' Rights Week. So it's going to be a busy time for us. And she is working with, like I said, various organizations to do some city council proclamations. There'll be 3 for those topics that are coming up on Tuesday, March 30th at 5:30 p.m. So if you have a chance to tune in for that, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then maybe in April, I can brief a little bit more on what the police department and the various agencies like the district attorney's office and also SARC, the Sexual Assault Resource Center, are doing for these 3 events. And Alexis is, give a plug out for Alexis and the internal equity team. The police department, I think I mentioned in January, I kind of lost track of the past month. We have 2 new internal equity team members from the police department. So the first one is Officer Amanda Picard, who is completely dedicated to the Family Justice Center. And if anyone's not familiar with the Family Justice Center, it's an organization made up of police officers from the various agencies in Washington County, and also some social service groups that deal completely are dedicated to victims of domestic violence. And so that's what Officer Picard's full-time job is, dealing with victims of domestic violence that occur within the city of Beaverton. And then also we have Christina Jimenez, who is in our records division. So I've reached out to Christina. I'm hoping to have maybe Amanda and Christina come to the next DAB meeting and just kind of introduce themselves and see, and so you get to all to meet them and see if you have any questions for them. And then quickly, I'm sticking on time here. I'm doing good. Fred Myers and the Portland Trailblazers donated 6,000 coats to the Salvation Army recently. And that was to distribute throughout the whole Portland metropolitan area. Sorry about that. And they still have about 1,000 coats for kids to share in Washington County. So they reached out to the different community services divisions with the law enforcement agencies to see if we could help distribute those. So there's a quick turnaround time on this. I think they have until April 1st to get these coats distributed. And I think that's a storage issue is why they're doing it. But if anyone's aware of any group organization, if you could get with Neil and I kind of after this meeting or even this week. And if you don't have her contact information, just please get that from Alexis. That'd be great. We're still sorting out how many coats we're going to get. I think we could probably get a fair share of these 1,000 coats for kids if we wanted it. We're just trying to figure out how to do this because obviously it's a logistical challenge as well. So that's all I have for tonight. But if anyone, like I said, if anyone does know a group organization where we could help distribute some of these brand new coats from Fred Myers to kids, that'd be great. And I think that's all I have for tonight, unless anybody has any questions for me or for Neil. I think that's it, Rachel.
Okay, thank you.
And I just looked down to make sure I was unmuted during that whole time, because if I was muted during that whole presentation, I mean, I could do it again, but everybody would kill me. So luckily I was unmuted.
You did great, and very, very happy to hear about the new IET members, and hopefully we'll be able to meet them next month. So thank you for that update. All right, we're gonna move on to our next agenda item. We have a bunch of members from the Human Resources team at the City of Beaverton with us tonight. Hoping to have this time serve as an opportunity to sort of get to know each other a little bit better. So I am going to ask if you are a DAB member and are able to turn on your camera and don't have it on right now, please do so so that those folks can put names to faces and things like that. So I'd like to start with getting introductions from those HR team members. And then let's follow up with having each DAB member go around and introduce themselves, say your name, and maybe how long you've been serving on the board. So I will pass it over to, we'll start with Patricia.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's good to see you again. The one good thing about COVID is that we can jump into meetings a lot easier rather than having to travel or having the staff wait to attend a physical meeting. So, you know, I'm beginning to see the upsides of COVID in terms of allowing us to engage with you a little bit more. So thank you for having us. So I'm Patricia, I'm the HR director, but the work that I do really is done, most of it, if not all of it, is done by the team. And so I wanted you to get to know the team. We know the influence that you have in our work because you have been partnering with us in the last year. Also, because of the work you're doing on the diversity, equity and inclusion plan, which impacts us and impacts the way we think, you have quite a bit of influence in the way we operate in the city. So without further ado, I will pick on Matthew.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Matthew Halderman. I'm the Organizational Development Manager for the City of Beaverton. I've got a team of two folks with me. Tonight I've got Dana Orth. Dana, wave. You can introduce yourself in a second, but there's Dana. She's our Talent Acquisition Specialist. So she's really gonna be our one of the folks that's reaching out to you quite a bit as we partner for improving our diversity goals and meeting our diversity objectives. And then Deepa Varki, there you are, Deepa. Say hi to everybody. There we go. That's Deepa. She's my organizational development coordinator, and so she makes sure that all of our pre-hire activities happen smoothly and without issue, so that we can bring people on as quickly and efficiently as possible. So they can introduce themselves in a second, but again. I'm Matthew. I've been with the city for 4 years now, so just getting my career started here and looking forward to a long time with the city and a good partnership with the Diversity Advisory Board. Alfonso, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Matthew. My name is Alfonso Moore. I'm the Employee and Labor Relations Manager here at the City of Beaverton. I have been at Beaverton now. July will actually make 4 years, so I came a little after Matthew. For me, I have two direct reports. One couldn't make it here tonight for this meeting, but the other is Gregory. And I'll allow Gregory to give a more formal introduction here soon, but it is a pleasure to meet everyone here this evening and look forward to getting to know you all a little better. And I guess I will go, if we're choosing here, to Gregory.
Well, thank you very much, Alfonso.
Yeah.
So I was actually here last month for the IET board when we were doing some introductions, but I'm back again in an HR coordinator capacity. So I've been the HR coordinator here at the City of Beaverton for a little over 2 years, and it gives me a chance to do a little of everything in HR. It's been a really wonderful time being here and working on the IET, and so it's good to see you all again. And I will go ahead and call on Dana for the next person.
Hello, everyone. Had to unmute myself. I'm Dana Orth. I'm the talent acquisition specialist, as Matthew had said. And already, if you I haven't met any of you, many really of you, but thank you already for whomever has already participated in the panels for different recruitments already. If you saw my name, that was me who was sending you information. So thank you for participating. And I am super excited about in my role. Of course, I'm new to the HR team, 6 months now, going on 7. I've been with the city just over a year and just super excited about what's to come. And I know that we've got some amazing partnerships probably. So please, if you have any questions, concerns, or whatever, you can reach out to me directly. That's great. I'm excited to meet you all tonight too. With that, I will pass it on over to Nancy and she can take it away.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nancy Thogan-Rokas. I'm the benefits specialist here at the city of Beaverton. So I work with employees with their benefits, their leave requests, so FMLA or at this point, COVID kind of leaves. I also do the wellness program here at the city of Beaverton. I have been here for 5 years and I have been enjoying my time very much, and it's very nice to meet everybody. And on to Deepa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Deepa Varki. I'm part of Matthew Halderman's OD team. I work very closely with Dana as well. I help with the new hires and the onboarding, so that's always fun to meet our people. As well, I help with various HR projects to help get the work done in the department. It's nice to meet all of you. I will pass it to, I'm not sure, I'll pass it back to Patricia.
So Atira could not be here today. Nancy Beekler could not be here today. I think that's it. Is that it for our team? And we have a special member of our team who is part-time, Kathleen Bain. Kathleen, she actually terms herself a senior. So she's with there's a senior employment program, and Kathleen is with that program. And so she's joined us in the city of Beaverton, and she comes in a couple hours per week, I think about 3 days a week now, to help us with various HR projects. And would somebody remind me the name of that, the partnership that we have?
Easter seals.
Easter seals. Anybody here familiar with Easter seals? Yes. So Easter seals.
That's right.
It's a really, Annie, are you familiar with Easter seals? It's a really progressive program that actually helps seniors retool and get back to work. So Kathleen is a part of that program and she could not be here with us. So we're missing 3 of our members tonight. Do you have any questions for us?
We're missing Bob too.
Oh, I forgot about Robert Cropper. Yes, please don't tell him I forgot about him.
Me too.
He's probably on daddy duty. So, do you have any questions for us? And we'd like to hear to hear a little bit from you too. Of course, we will not remember everything tonight, but at least we would start to establish some familiarity that helps us every time that we meet or we work together.
Great. Perhaps we can go around. Oh, Councilor Soucie, you have something?
Well, I have a question, but if you wanted to do introductions first, please do.
Yeah, I'd love to quickly have the DAB members introduce themselves, and then Councilor will hear your question or comment. I can start, and then I'll do the same popcorn style that you all just did. My name is Rachel Hershey. I'm the chair of the Diversity Advisory Board. This is my 3rd year on the board, and I will popcorn ramen.
Hi, I'm Raman Velji. I'm the new kid around the block. This is my 1st year. Having said that, I'm not new to Beaverton. I've been here since 1980. So I will popcorn to Ahmed.
Hi, everybody. Thank you to being here today. And again, happy International Women's Day because you didn't be here when we started that. So my name is Ahmed Zubaydi. I'm originally from Iraq, Baghdad. I'm a refugee, and I'm being with DAB. I'm involved with DAB. We can say like before almost 5 years, helping do our Beaverton night market. And as a board member, this is my second year, and I work in Beaverton School District. So let's go with Shala.
Not surprised after you. So nice to meet you virtually. Shara Nouri, originally from Iraq. I'm Kurdish. If you want to know more about me and my community, please, at March 20th, we have an event for Kurdish New Year. You can come and attend our New Year party. My second year was that. And I'll popcorn to Rehana.
Hey everyone, nice to see you all this evening. It's really nice to put the faces and the names together because I know I've come across some of you. So my name's Rehana Malik, and this is my second year on the board. It's really a pleasure to work with all of you, and hopefully we'll get a chance to work with you in the future as well. So I'll popcorn to Annie.
Hi everyone, this is Annie. I have been in Beaverton and also been in US for 7 years. This is my first year on board and very nice to meet you. I feel since I got this job, I expanded my social network 10 times or 100 times. I know so many things that I have never got a chance to know. Yeah, nice to meet you. Oh, I need it. Oh, that's popcorn to Teresa.
Everyone, my name is Teresa Payne. I'm the vice chair, and I've been on the Diversity Advisory Board for 3 years. And I will popcorn to Christian.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christian Salgado. I've been in Beaverton now for 5 years, and this is my first time participating with the Diversity Advisory Board. I will popcorn over to Ugana.
Thank you, Christian. My name is Ugana, and I've been with DAP for 2 years. I started 2020 right before the pandemic, and this is my second year. And I work for the Department of Justice, and I've lived in the US for almost 10 years, and I'm originally from Nigeria. So I'm gonna popcorn to Monica.
Hi, my name is Monica Streja. I've been with DAB. This is my 7th year. And I'm originally from Ecuador, South America. And I've been part of night market from the very beginning. So nice to meet all of you.
I popcorn to Monica.
Sorry, what was that?
I think we might have just had a little delay in the audio. So go ahead, Monica.
So Mr. Over?
No, I think we heard most of your intro until you heard the other audio.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
I think we can send it over to Hiral.
I'm not hearing your audio, Carol. Doesn't look like you're muted, but we're not hearing you. Maybe we'll go to somebody else and loop back around.
Okay, let's
Don't
go to
forget
Alex.
about me.
Okay, or Manijay.
Sorry to interrupt you. Hi, everyone. Happy Women's Day, first of all. And Manijay Mehrnoush. I am originally from Iran, been in the States since 1986, and moved to Oregon in 1998. And been in Beaverton for about, ever since I've been in Oregon, just a couple of years in Hillsborough. Then I moved to Beaverton ever since, beautiful Beaverton. And I've been with DAB for 7 years, with Night Market 6 years, 7 years again. So I'm really happy to hear all your beautiful voices and handsome voices. Sorry that I couldn't be on even virtually to see you. So maybe next time. Thanks for joining us and for all your introduction, getting to know you guys. Now, and I popcorn it to, I don't know, Alexis.
No, they know me. Who hasn't gone yet? Should we go back to Hero or Alex? Go ahead, Alex.
I'm gone. I'm Alex. I've been with the DAB for 2 years.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you this time.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is Hiral. This is my first year in DAB, and yeah, I'm excited to working with you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for introducing yourselves. Councilor Soucie, I did not forget that you have a question.
Well, it's a question that I've never had a chance to ask. When we do job postings for this positions in the city of Beaverton, there are a lot of very well-established and traditional places where postings get made. There's some websites and there's some outlets that everybody is aware of. But I think there are probably a number of members of our community who aren't aware of those things that everybody is aware of. And I'm wondering if there's a way that our HR team could maybe work with some of the members of the Diversity Advisory Board and some of other boards and commissions to identify what are some other channels of communication that the city could use to advertise positions with the city government besides the traditional ones that we always use.
We have been doing that, Councilor Soucie, and I have to tell you that this board has helped us send some of our postings far and wide. This board and HRAC worked very closely with us on our interim city manager, on public works manager, on the police chief, and I can't remember which other ones, but I did come here and ask for help and ask for members of this board to send our postings throughout to their communities. And we've just felt very supported and felt a strong partnership. I don't know if Dana wants to add anything, and we welcome anything more. We want to get these postings everywhere, in every corner, everywhere, especially non-traditional places. We just want to get them everywhere. We've talked about bulletin boards, the traditional, the non-traditional, word of mouth, people passing them through text messages. So I don't know if Dana wants to add anything, and if the DAB wants to add anything.
I don't have anything specific, but yes, any of those ideas that maybe I haven't heard before, or something that, hey, specifically you can send it to this newsletter or this forum or this listing, please share. I am more than happy to welcome. And I love all the very untraditional ideas because I'm always coming up with something new that may or may not work. But if you know that someone who's not hearing something and they would probably hear it or see it elsewise, I would like to know that. So thank you, Patricia. Yes, share the love and the news for me.
And format too. We're also interested in formats that don't work. You know, the traditional format is not necessarily one that's working. And so we've been talking about how best to get the information out and really what needs to get out in what forum and what needs to get out in another forum, providing the opportunity equally, but it's not one size fits all.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, Dana, are you using, there is an Asian newspaper, it's printed in English language that has a pretty good circulation. I know that City of Hillsborough is using, but I'm wondering if Beaverton is using that. And if you need, I can get the name of the newspaper and necessary contact and all that.
I just learned about it not too recently. So it's something that we're exploring because I also was told that it definitely is a great avenue. But yes, if you have specific contact that maybe would be different than normal, feel free to share that along. You do have my email. But yes, I have heard of it, and print, if it's a printed edition that you know works, we'd be happy to know about it. We also know some that don't necessarily work. So kind of like Trish was saying, so yes.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll get in touch with you. I'll send you an email with the contact person's name. It is print. I'm only aware of the print, but I don't know whether they are online also or not. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my feedback is mostly a question because I have not been anywhere near the City of Beaverton's hiring website in a good while. But I remember when I was last there, there seemed to be a robotic screening, like first level process. And I was just concerned if that was still there because that seems to catch qualified applicants and inject them automatically because of bad keywords, but it might have changed in the meantime. I don't know.
So I've heard that a few times. We do ask questions to have an idea of what of a screening, but it never kicks anyone out. So if someone actually has an experience of them getting kicked out, I've been assured by our system processor that posts us that there's never a reason why someone should be kicked out. And we review all applications. And even if someone checks a screening question differently, we are reviewing applications to see if there's a combination of qualifications so that even if it's not the traditional way, that they are then also sent along to the hiring manager.
Yeah, I don't have a specific one. Like I said, it's been a few years since myself or anyone that I know has been it. I just know occasionally it was like, wow, that was uncannily fast and the person seemed qualified. So, but I don't know what was actually happening. Double checking on that because I know a lot of places do. So.
We have really been auditing ourselves in terms of how we're looking at applications, because the traditional way isn't always the best way or even a relevant way. There is an example, my team has heard me share it over and over again. I graduated, my first degree was in 1985. So if you were to ask on an application, do I have a degree in XYZ? I do have a degree in XYZ, but how long ago was that degree? And so by just asking those canned questions, we actually eliminate relevant education and experience. And so what we're doing is a combination of experience, a combination of education. We want to look at internships, volunteer experience, transferable knowledge and skills, and not just be looking at these traditional structural methods by which many of us have come, but looking at really the success factors which would allow a candidate to really be competent and successful in a job. So we've been doing that, I would say, pretty aggressively just before I got here, but we've really started digging deeper in the last year. And Dana is doing some specific work because she can hone in on that specific work with looking at every single application. And if we have to ask questions, we will ask questions of the applicants, but ensuring that we don't miss opportunities for us to bring people in who can actually perform the work.
Teresa, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you. So I just have a follow-up question/comment. December 8th, during the City Council meeting, Rachel and I presented on Agenda Bill 20319 for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Plan, the 2020 annual report. And I stayed for the rest of the City Council meeting, and quickly after ours was Agenda Bill 20320. Sorry, I'm giving specific numbers, but just following what's going on. The racial equity report was given, and it was perfect timing. And I was a little surprised to find, I guess, the level of diversity, equity, and inclusion reports that was a result of the City Beaverton staff survey. And I just wanted to follow up and find out, what additional work that you as Human Resources is doing within the City of Beaverton. Obviously we have our elected officials, but with city staff, that is their job. They're not elected. And so I imagine it is more difficult to have disciplinary action and removal of a city staffer than it would be a city councilor who misbehaves, right? They're not living a life that is as public. And yet, oftentimes, depending on the department, the city staffers have a critical role in advising our elected leaders and understanding that their work environment is and needs to be, safe and equitable, and that they are a representation of the community, but that they are truly representing the community's interests in their work. And I understand sometimes it's difficult to lose sight in that when you're just kind of in the daily grind of tasks. So how have you as human resource representatives internally kind of following through on ensuring that everyone, feels safe at work and equitable? And obviously there are top level things and structure, and trying to ensure that people who are leaders are supporting their subordinates, and that subordinates have the empowerment there to speak up if they feel something is wrong. So to make sure that our internal team is flowing well to continue to support our good work. So I hope I'm not asking too broad of a question. It's more to follow up on what I saw. Like I said, I was just a bit surprised. I was like, surely in this beautifully diverse and well-run city of Beaverton, perhaps I was, ignorant to the fact that not everything is perfect and glamorous. I'm like, no, HR is doing a fantastic job. I don't hear anything. I don't know anything. So it's perfect. So to kind of have the curtain drawn back a little bit was a bit of a surprise for me. So just from your perspective, if things have gotten much better, and this is not necessarily from an internal equity team side, but you as human resource representatives.
Teresa, could you qualify for me what we should speak to? Because I know that Gregory can speak to some of this, and I'd like Alfonso to speak to what he's doing on the culture shift side. Would you clarify a little bit for me, for us, what question we should answer?
Sure. And it is on the culture shift, that the culture of a workplace, like any workplace, regardless of you know, the industry, that there has to be, it's difficult to speak to diversity, equity, and inclusion when you truly don't believe in that. It's hard to emulate and support a team with varying views and opinions, and not to have your personal opinions and feelings go into the way you treat someone. I mean, we all have our biases. And so I just, from the perspective of being on the diversity advisory board, and, you know, we talk about how we have our, you know, equity and inclusion plan and how that it is relatable in what diversity, equity, and inclusion can look like in the city. And on the level of that same structure of equity and well-roundedness to ensure things are going well on the city level. So yes, how people in power positions are supporting teams and how those people are influential, not only for the people who are their subordinates, but in the overall organization, if that makes sense. So weeding out the bad apples, because it only takes one to ruin the barrel, if that makes sense. So I hope I don't want to like name names of like, I think this person, because we're not here for that. I'm just asking a general overarching question of, I hope that makes sense.
Yes, I am, you know, picking up what you're saying. And I'd like Alfonso to talk about culture shift, Gregory to talk about some of the work that we're doing in terms of auditing our processes, our learning styles, and some of what he's doing with Jennifer. But I just want to say here from an HR perspective that the human spirit of an employee is very important to the success of our work. So in the city of Beaverton, we never assume that an employee who has the most eloquent words or is the most vocal is definitely right. We listen to everyone because we want everyone to have their place and their voice. So what we hear from employees, we have to always go and seek out and check. And I may be unhappy for something, but I may be the bad apple, but I'm just more vocal. So I just wanted to share that to start, to say that very often what we hear as folklore or rumor, until we check it, it's important to hold it in a box and hold it in a place so that we can further review. And we want, after that review, for every person to be successful, both the complaining, the reporting, the person who's felt, you know, the discrimination. We want, and the person who is dealing it, we want everyone to be successful, because there's a combination of the growth mindset that says we're not there yet, and that there's a belonging mindset that says, listen, everybody deserves to have both a seat, a voice, and an ability to act when they get here. So I just want to share that. Sometimes it's not what we hear that's always what it is. You know, things don't always really work out to what they appear to be. So we have to do some more digging. Alfonso could segue into what we're doing in terms of our culture shift, to share some of what we're discovering ourselves about the human spirit and employee behavior.
Okay, well, thank you, Patricia. So yes, with cultural shift, what we've done, especially with the pandemic and COVID-19, is to understand that we've had a lot of workplace issues that have come up as a result. And so the idea behind that was to take a look through a DEI lens and to not necessarily always go our traditional route response to workplace issues as they come up, to look at everything on an individual basis and try to come to resolution. The idea behind it is conflict resolution when possible. So we had a meeting with the managers and supervisors at the city of Beaverton, I would say probably a couple of months ago, where we rolled this out, the idea of cultural shift, where really part of it is, it means involvement from managers and supervisors with their employees to communicate, to talk with them, find out what's going on. If there are issues or factors outside the workplace that may have an impact on how they're performing in the workplace, behavior, performance, etc., to take that into consideration instead of going the more traditional route, which would be to warn, investigate, progressive discipline, but to see what are the root problems or underlying problems, and there may be other factors or issues that are involved. And so we have done that. We have made other managers and supervisors aware of that's our approach, and that's what we're encouraging. We are there with them to have those discussions, to help them navigate with their employees. Part of that means that managers, if they haven't developed those relationships with their employees already, that we're encouraging them to do that, to communicate with them, not make assumptions. A lot of that goes a long way. So that's part of what we're doing to address some of the concerns or issues that you mentioned. I would say in the 3.5+ years that I've been at the city, when it comes to employee and labor relations, and my involvement, it has increased quite a bit each and every year. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but as people within the organization have seen that HR is actually pretty reactive and proactive in addressing issues and responses, we hear more things. So as I've mentioned that over the last few years, it has increased. What I'm finding out is that I'm also dealing with issues that were 5 years old, 4 years old, 7 years ago, where people weren't addressing for whatever the reason may be, but now they feel comfortable coming to HR and trying to have those issues resolved. Sometimes something happens in the workplace where it has to be resolved, but a lot of times it's people feel uncomfortable doing that. And so I would say too, my experience with employees has been a lot of them feel comfortable. People talk. If there's been a resolution to an issue, they're going to let other people know within the organization. It doesn't always mean that it's the way they necessarily see it should go, or the resolution that they feel, but our job is to be fair, to be impartial, and to try and resolve the issue based on, the circumstance. And so with that too, to Patricia's point, you have people who are more vocal than others, but in my experience, and I'll make this quick, but I had an employee who a couple, maybe 2.5 years ago, and some of the people here from HR will remember this, I had to ask to leave our office because they were getting into a disagreement with another coworker, and I stepped in, and it got to the point where they were about to become inappropriate, and so I asked them to leave because we were going to have a meeting later. I bring that up because a year after that, that individual comes to me and lets me know that they're leaving the city, and they say to me, you've always been straight up with me. You've always been fair. I'm having issues with my managers, but I wanted you to know first. Now, keep in mind, I'm the person who kicked this person out of HR, but they're coming to me to say that because at the end of the day, they feel, hey, you're fair. You've always been straight up with me. I appreciate that. So even if I disagreed with something, I knew that you were coming from the right place. And so again, my experience has been, more and more employees feeling comfortable, but at the same time, there may be some that aren't happy. But again, it's what is the issue? What can we do to try and address that? We are very proactive in trying to do that now within the organization. And I'll leave it at that because I know we're kind of under the gun with time. So Gregory.
Yeah, I'll make this very quick. So storytelling is really important for building our culture, and especially for building our employee culture. And for the past few months, especially since Jennifer Johnson was hired as the DEI project manager, we've been trying to find new ways in which we can tell stories and start hearing people that we don't normally hear from. So we're looking at ways of improving orientation so that it's a year-long orientation in which we get to really share the culture of the city of Beaverton, but also make opportunities for a lot more feedback so we can find out how we can make us a more inclusive city. But yeah, to talk more about some of the work that Jennifer Johnson and I have been doing, we just wrapped up a month-long celebration for Black History Month, which was a very what's the word I want to look? It was a very engaging project in which we were able to reach a lot of different departments and get a lot of leadership talking and highlighting Black-owned businesses. So it was a very all-encompassing City of Beaverton event that we're really proud of. And we've already segued into March now, so we're here in Women's History Month. And we're also doing a lot of highlights of that and getting a lot of participation that we weren't seeing, and hearing a lot of voices that we weren't hearing before. And a lot of just really, really excited people to say, like, we've never experienced this before. Thank you for this opportunity to share. And so this feedback has been really positive, and we're learning as we go each month as we build kind of a cultural calendar for our staff. And for me, as an HR person, it makes our work environment so much more, like I said, kind of all encompassing, and we get to know each other better and work with each other better. And we become better as a community of workers, and hopefully better as a community in Beaverton as well. So thank you for being able to share that.
All right, thank you so much, HR team, for being with us tonight, for introducing yourselves and answering some of our questions. It's great to have you. And hopefully we'll see you at another DAB meeting sometime in the near future.
Thank you. And just to say, we have a long way to go. We're learning ourselves, and we're absorbing ourselves. So feel free to always reach out to us. To any of us you can access to ask questions, to get clarification, whatever your protocol is, whether it is to go through Alexis or to come directly to us. Each of us can be accessed by you. So we welcome your continuing support and correction if there's anything that it's not being presented on the outside the way you think it's best, because we're trying to communicate, but we may not be having the kind of impact. We welcome that feedback as well. So.
Excellent, thank you. All right, we do have another presenter from the city tonight. Yeah. Good night, HR team. We have Rachel Thieme here from the Economic Development team. She's back with us again to provide an update on the process for the Beaverton Night Market vendor relief grants. And hopefully everyone has had an opportunity to take a look at the draft application for the vendors. So Rachel, go ahead and give us your rundown.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Sorry, I wasn't here in the beginning of your meeting, just getting my kid fed, and I'm happy to be here now. I first wanted to just start off by thanking Manajay. I see that she is in the meeting here. As you hopefully know, Manajay represented DAB on our advisory or our proposal review committee for the downtown equity strategy, and we'll be sending our consultant recommendation to Bureau and Council next week. So, so thank you again, Manajay, for all of your work. With that,
you are very welcome.
Excellent.
Nice to have you.
Great. All right. So, so switching gears to the night market vendor grant application. I am so glad. Thank you, Alexis, for sending that out to everyone in advance. I think I don't have any slides or anything, but I think I'll just talk for like 2 minutes, and then I'd love to hear your feedback. Does that sound like a good plan? Cool. Okay, so so as you know, the purpose of this grant is really to recognize that that a lot of the vendors from the Beaverton Night Market incurred some real financial losses last year as a result of the pandemic. And not being able to vend at events such as the Beaverton Night Market. And we really value this event and these vendors in our city. It's such an important event. You all put in so much work as on the planning side and execution, and the vendors have just brought a tremendous this is just such a great resource for the city. So we have been able to, with council approval, allocate a program budget of $50,000. And so kind of how we're thinking about this will work is that we will have this application and this will be sent out to all past vendors from the night market. So we definitely incorporated your earlier feedback there. So it's not just restricted to the most recent vendors, but it's anyone who's participated as a vendor in any year of the night market, including the bazaar in 2019. And then also this is intended for vendors who are experiencing a financial need and have seen a real revenue loss due to COVID. We have a couple of other eligibility requirements in the application, just such as they haven't already received a business grant from the city, and that this is really their primary business or they're working kind of towards that. So the intention here was not to require a lot of paperwork, to just make this simple. These grants are going to be around, $1,000 is our estimate. If we get more than, since our budget is 50,000, if we get more than 50 applicants, our plan is to do a random lottery and select the applicants based on that. But if we only get 30 applicants, we will divide that $50,000 evenly. So I hope that makes sense. And I'd love your feedback on that. So let's see, Alexis, have I missed anything kind of substantial? I will say the dates are still in flux a little bit. Alexis and I did meet last week, and she alerted me to the fact that the night market vendor applications are going out. And so we didn't want to confuse people too much. So we're still kind of talking about how best to send this out so people don't fill this out thinking they're signing up for the night market for this year. And then also just, who exactly the point person on staff is going to be for answering questions. So those are still kind of some open things we're talking about. But today I'd really love to get your feedback on, how's the application look? Is this kind of what you all had in mind, and any feedback to make this even better? Alexis, anything you want to jump into anything? No? Okay. All right. So what do you all think? Would you like me to pull up the application? Would that be helpful to just peek at it?
I have some feedback.
Okay, great.
Hi, this is Christian. I think the application is simple and accessible. I have a question and then a follow-up question depending on your answer. How many businesses do you expect to send this out to? How many have participated in a total?
That is a great question. Alexis, do you have that number?
Yeah, I do. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it was 135.
Okay.
I'm going to say that, and I'm going to go looking to make sure I'm right while you ask your other question.
And my follow-up question is, are you considering any way of making the selection process more equitable, especially if all of the businesses end up applying? So as far as taking into account like race, type of business, those sort of things.
Yeah, our plan was to send it out to everyone and to keep the application period open for about 2 weeks. So to give everybody an opportunity to hear about it, apply, probably send out some reminder emails, and then see what comes in. We'll process everything. If we get more than 50 eligible vendors, then we were planning to do a random lottery selection, which wouldn't prioritize first come, first serve, but we weren't looking at kind of assigning like a point structure per applicant based on race or type of vending business. Yeah, we were just gonna do the lottery. How does that sound? Any comments on that?
Well, yeah, and I think maybe the questions I might be asking might be a little too detailed. But I'm thinking, I don't know what the makeup is of the businesses, like how many businesses are Black-owned businesses, Latino-owned businesses, Muslim-owned businesses, and so having a lottery style kind of choosing is, it doesn't show any sort of favoritism, but also at the same time, I feel like you run the risk of, leaving out some of those businesses that might have, historically been underserved or underprivileged. So just, I might suggest, if you're open to feedback, finding out a way to kind of maybe even give extra, however it is that you're doing your random selection or your lottery system, is maybe, given extra kind of numbers to businesses that might represent historically disadvantaged businesses, or having separate lotteries for depending on what percentage of businesses are represented, kind of having separate lotteries that, you know, a certain percentage go to a certain type of business and another go to a different type of business. Just kind of to make sure that, you know, it's equitable.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Christian.
And I also have a quick question for you. This is Ugonna. I had to get off video because it messes up with the network. So my question is there going to be a requirement like paperwork to submit, or is this it? And if you're going to require paperwork, I would suggest, my humble opinion is to make the application less tedious, you know, not require too many paperwork for them. It's gonna it might take some time. Some companies or some businesses might not be able to turn in their paperwork on time. So I was wondering.
I think we lost you, but I will do my best at answering your questions that came up. So the only paperwork we would be asking for in the application is a W-9 form, which is required from our finance department in order to get these out. And then the vendors that are selected would need to sign a very simple grant agreement form. And so we'll get those out, but no other proof of financial need. We're asking them to self-certify that they're experiencing a financial need, as well as have seen a revenue loss due to COVID. These are not $20,000 grants. These are relatively small grants, and we don't see the need to get into people's bank statements or anything like that. If people are willing to self-certify that they are in need, then that's good enough for where we're at. But thank you.
Monica,
any other questions?
Yeah.
Monica, did you have a question?
I have a comment. Not a comment, but I was listening to Christian's suggestion, and I echo that. It worries me a little bit the lottery system for the vendors. So I think Christian nailed on the head. Has to be somehow that we're gonna try to benefit the most needed or the most vendors that they need to be there. So that's the only comment I have.
Thank you, Monica. Rehana, did you have one?
Hi, Rachel. So did we eliminate the idea of distributing the money to all 135 vendors?
We did. The grants then would be extremely small. So we thought about keeping, having 50 grants maximum. So those would be $1,000 each. Otherwise, then we're getting into grants of, $700, $600, $700. So we thought $1,000 and up was the appropriate threshold. But and just in terms of processing all of these for our finance department and staff to get all these letters out and following up with everyone on agreements and things like that.
I would also just add that not all 135 are still businesses that are up and running or businesses that provide primary income or any of those things. So the 135 includes people it was hobbies or people who have moved away or have since moved on to do other things. So I anticipate we will get much fewer than 135 applications for it.
Great. I'm curious how you've all felt about just the ease of the application. Do you feel like it struck the right balance between information that we need to collect and not being too intrusive? I would love your feedback there.
Sorry, did we receive the application form? I didn't receive it.
I would be happy to put it in the chat.
It was included as a link in the email that Alexis sent out with all the materials for this month. So that's another area that you can pull it up on your own screen.
All right, I just put it in the chat as well. Oh, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I'm sorry, I think the application is straightforward. It's not complicated at all.
This is
Yeah,
manager.
you did
I
a good
didn't
work.
see.
It's simple and straightforward.
Hi, this is manager.
Thank you
I
for your
didn't see the application in the email either. Hello?
I just posted it in the chat as a link. So hopefully you can all see that now. But I don't want to take up too much time. I see that we're over our time a little bit, but I think what I heard is that the group is recommending that we kind of re-examine the random lottery, maybe try to do some weighting here to have the most equitable outcomes as possible. So so we'll talk about how best we can do that and incorporate that into our process. All right. Great. And then Alexis will work together on timing, what makes the most sense, and go from there. And in the meantime, please feel free to email me if you have any suggestions specifically about the application or anything else here.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate you being here tonight. And I also just wanted to echo Ugana's last statement. I thought that the application was really simple and straightforward and struck the perfect balance. So that was my own personal opinion. I see a couple other thumbs up, so good job on that. All right, folks, we got a little catching up to do at this point. We are gonna move on to retreat follow-up here. So we have a couple things that we need to look at. And we're gonna start with looking at the final proposed draft of our guiding principles from our retreat last month. Maybe Alexis, do you wanna share screen this? And so you can also find it on the back of your agenda too. But just as a reminder that these agreements really serve as our guidelines for our group space and the working environment that we want to create together for the rest of this year. So I'd like to, sorry, I'm gonna adjust my screen so I can see people's feedback here. But what I'd like to do here is I'd like to just take a temperature check to see if folks are ready to kind of vote to approve this as is right now. So if I could get a thumbs up that you're ready to go, or a thumbs down that you disagree with something here and feel like there needs to be more discussion, that'd be really helpful for me. Okay, I'm seeing pretty much thumbs up. That's great. So at this point, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve these as our guiding principles for 2021.
Rachel, Teresa, would like to make a motion to approve the guiding principles.
I second.
Great. So got a motion by Teresa and second by Ahmed. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Me,
Aye.
Annie.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, looks like we have our guiding principles for 2021. Thanks, everyone. That was easy enough. Then we're going to move on to our second item here for retreat follow-up, which is going to be looking at our proposed goals for 2021. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the process that we took to create this list of goals. And again, Alexis will screen share this for you. Thank you so much. we heard a lot of echoing of the goals from last year. So we started with that as our baseline. And then the leadership took those ideas that were shared during our brainstorming session in the retreat, and then reframed some of our existing goals from last year and or added to them. So I think most notably what you'll see here is the first goal is new. The second goal is sort of a reframing of one of our former goals that now actually prioritizes outreach that is targeted toward filling gaps in representation on our board. And then the third goal expands on our annual monitoring and accountability for the DEI plan by focusing more specifically on processes. So processes for board input and city accountability in particular. And I think that those are the main highlights here. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to get a little bit of feedback from all of you. Are these the themes that you think should be our goals for this year? Do you feel like we've captured them well here? And I can't really see people's, all your faces too well. So if you have something to say, just speak up.
Okay, this is me, Monica. I think I was reading and I read before. This is very good goals that we need to keep it to make sure that everything that we work for and we're planning for the community is going to be taken seriously, and it's going to be working with the city together with us like every year. So I agree with this.
Thanks, Monica. Anyone else want to offer their 2 cents? All right, I'm going to take another temperature check then. Since I'm not hearing a lot of feedback here, I assume that you guys love the goals. So I want to do another thumbs up. You are ready to vote for these goals for this year, or thumbs down. You are not ready for that.
I like it, and I feel it's enough, and will cover almost all the community needs.
Thanks, Ahmed. Raman, is that like a thumbs up, or is that you have a comment?
Thumbs up and comment also.
Okay.
I think this is very realistic goal. It is attainable, and I think it would be really an excellent to reach, and for us to reach out to make sure that we can attain these goals by the end of the year.
Thank you, Raman. Monica, you got one more thing?
Yes, I want to say number 4. Number 4 is the one that I really, I think it's kind of new for us a little bit before the other years we had. And I want to see that one come in reality, that we will be involved with at least one another board together working with that.
Yes.
So I like that one very much.
And actually, we already have one partnership planned, which is the Voters Forum. So hopefully we can build off of that too. All right. Looks like folks feel pretty ready to vote. So I'll ask for a motion, a motion to approve these goals for 2021.
I motion.
Wow, that was so many people.
I'm sorry.
Monica, I'll take your motion, and can I have a second?
I second.
Ahmed, thank you. All in favor then?
Any?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion carries, and we have our goals for 2021. We have our group guidelines for 2021, and we have our focus areas for 2021 now. Well done, team. This is very exciting.
Can I say something? It's funny. In our language, when we say I, that means like we are in pain.
But I am in pain, but I say I.
Like, so when everybody's like start like say I like I cannot, like I try to, like what happened, like someone in pain.
All right. Well, we forgot to add something to our agenda today, but I want to make sure that Mani J, would you feel ready to do your cultural sharing right now? If so, you have 10 minutes. And if you feel put on the spot right now, that's okay too.
No, I am ready. However, do we need to do a report on Beaverton Night Market Comedy? Or we are going to do it later?
We what we have left in the agenda starts at 7:15. We're going to do our staff liaison updates, and then I have something on the voters forum, and then just general DAB member updates, but nothing specifically on the Beaverton Night Market unless Alexis does have something. So you've got about 10 minutes, Mani J.
Oh, okay. I'm going to speak a little bit, and then I sent a link to Alexis. She's kindly going to share it. So hello everyone again, and it's about time for Iranian New Year. Of course, it's not just Iranian New Year, because this celebration happens in so many countries that I can say Persian-speaking countries. And the reason it's Iranian because Iran in the past was Greater Iran, and so many countries was included in Iran. That's why it's known as Iranian. And which happens, the Iranian New Year is called Nowruz. No means new, and Ruz means day, so new day. And even though it's so known, but the spelling is really different. So some people say N-O-R-U-Z, some people say N-O-W or O-O-Z. So it's different, but the meaning is the same, that we wish everyone Happy New Year. And it has been celebrated more than 3,000 years, and traditionally it begins at the very moment that the sun crosses the equator on the vernal equinox. Then the first day of the Iranian calendar falls on the March equinox. The first day of spring is the same kind of about March 21st. So this year we're expecting to have that on March 20th, which is Saturday. And if it happens before noon, we call that same day the beginning of the year, but if it happens in the afternoon, we consider the next day as the first day of the year. So it's going to happen like around 2 p.m. That's why Sunday, 21st, March 21st, is going to be the beginning of the new year. Nowruz, as I said. And so one of the traditions that we have, we set the tablecloth and we put 7 items on that table that starts with the letter S, which in Persian it's called 7 is haft, and S is sin, so we call it haft sin. And each item symbolizes something it's kind of it's meaningful. And so on the eve of New Year in Iran, it's common that we make sabzi polo mahi, which is green rice with fish. And then mainly at the time of the New Year, families, the members of the family get together around the tablecloth and celebrate, wait until it happens, and then they hug each other, kiss, and right away they start going visiting the elderly, and then the elderly go back for, it takes a few days until everybody visits everybody. And the 7 items, one of them is garlic, which is in Persian seer, and that's the symbol of medicine and taking care of oneself. And there is a pudding called samanu. That's a sweet pudding, kind of symbolizes wealth and fertility. And then another one is sib, means apple. It symbolizes beauty and health. And then another one is senjet, which is a sweet fruit from lotus tree. It symbolizes love and beautiful colors. And sabze, which it's green. People start like a couple of weeks before New Year. They grow lentil, wheat, or some other grains, and it becomes beautifully grown, and it's ready to be put on the table. And so it's called, which is the symbol of birth and kind of because of nature, and the symbol of renewal. And we have more than 7 sometimes, like another one is serke, which is vinegar, symbolizes aging and wisdom and patience. And another one is sumac. Some of you probably are familiar with sumac. In Iran and some other countries, they put it on kebab to take care of the grease and fat of the kebab or meat, and some people put it even on fish. It symbolizes sunrise of the Nowruz, and so the countries that celebrate the New Year are Iran, Iraq, and north of Iraq, and the Kurds in Iraq, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, India, Albania, and that's all I have to say about the New Year. Happy New Year. And if we have time, it's a beautiful link that I shared with Alexis. If you like to watch it, that would be nice. And Shera also is, Shera and Ahmed probably, they celebrate the New Year also. If they have something to add, the way they do it, I'll appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving me this time. When we were meeting in person, usually at this night, I used to bring Iranian food, like the green rice and the fish and sweet. And so hopefully next year we are able to share that food together again. Thank you.
Anija, I'm going to go ahead and share the video. I don't think we have time for all of it, but I'll let it run the first couple of minutes, and then we can send the link also so other people can see. So I'm going to push. So much. Sure thing. I'm going to push play, but I'm not sure if the audio is set up yet. So tell me if you can hear it.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear it? Okay. I know there's one more thing I need to do here. Which I always forget how to do. Okay, let's see. There we go. Now.
Nowruz is the traditional Iranian New Year. It is celebrated in many countries in the region, such as Iran, northern Iraq, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Afghanistan, Albania, Georgia, the countries of Central Asia, such as Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. It is also celebrated among various other Iranian and Turkic people in Iraq, Syria, Pakistan, India, northwestern China, the Caucasus, the Crimea, and the Balkans. Nowruz marks the first day of spring and the beginning of the Iranian year. It is celebrated on the day of the astronomical vernal equinox, that is the start of spring in the northern hemisphere. This usually occurs on the March the 21st or the previous or following day, depending on where the Nowruz is observed. In Iran it is also referred to as an Eid festival. The word Nowruz means new day. Tradition dates Nowruz as far back as 15,000 years ago, before the end of the last ice age. The mythical Persian king Jamshid symbolizes the transition of the Indo-Iranians from animal hunting to animal husbandry and a more settled life in human history. Seasons began to play a vital part in culture. After a severe winter, the beginning of spring was a great occasion, with Mother Nature rising up in a green robe of colourful flowers and the cattle delivering their young. Jamshid is said to be the person who introduced Nowruz celebrations. Prophet Zoroaster was the architect of the pre-Islamic Iranian cosmology, who instituted many feasts, festivals, and rituals to pay homage to the 7 creations, the holy immortals, and Ahura Mazda. The 7 most important ones are known as Gahambars, the feasts of obligation. The last and the most elaborate was Nowruz, celebrating Ahura Mazda and the holy fire at the spring equinox. In Iran, the greeting that accompanies the festival is Eidatun Mubarak. Mubarak means felicitations. Persians, Afghans, and other groups start preparing for the Nowruz with a major spring cleaning of their houses, the purchase of new clothes to wear for the new year, and the purchase of flowers. In particular, the hyacinth and the tulip are popular and conspicuous. In association with the rebirth of nature, extensive spring cleaning is a national tradition observed by almost every household. This is also extended to personal attire, and it is customary to buy at least one set of new clothes. On the New Year's Day, families dress in their new clothes and start the 12-day celebrations by visiting the elders of the family, then the rest of the family, and finally their friends. On the 13th day, families leave their homes and picnic outdoors. During the Nowruz holidays, people are expected to visit one another. This is mostly limited to families, friends, and neighbours.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for sharing, Manijay. And
Thank you.
I think Alexis can send the link to that video out so folks can watch the rest at their leisure if you would like to.
Okay, thank you. Eidatun Mubarak.
And
Eid
thank
Mubarak.
you, manager. You presented very well. You make my event look so simple. You talk about everything I want to share. But if you want to hear, taste, feel, and see what manager talk about, please join us March 20th from 1 to 3 p.m. front of the City Hall. We're gonna share our culture, Kurdish New Year, which is, as manager say, is 23 different countries they are celebrating at the same day. We are very similar in the way we are celebrating. It's a little difference with our clothes, with our food, but it's so similar. And just let your friends, your family know about COVID protocol. It's gonna be in a place, so please wear your mask, keep your distance, and join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like Shada.
Thank you, Sarah.
Help, just let us know.
And I think Alexa shared the link with you in Liaison report, right? Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys.
So Christian, you know about the event. And do you have any other question? Because Christian was asking if there any event on the chat.
Yeah. Is it gonna be outdoors next to City Hall, or is it a building next to City Hall?
We'll be
It's outdoor.
Oh, perfect. I will be there.
Open tent, outdoor. Yeah, please.
Sarah, we will have like some tradition Kurdish dance, right?
It's not gonna be like before because, you know, because of COVID, we will not be able to let people just dance randomly. Maybe we're gonna have 4 to 5 people on the stage to dance. We have a song. We have demo for food, like 3-4 types of Kurdish food. Unfortunately, we will not be able to share food, even if I said we're gonna do pre-packaged. It's gonna be very fresh, but still they didn't let us. But we have a lot of different sweets and desserts, Kurdish and Iraqi. Ahmed, you're gonna love it. Most of it. So yeah.
So guys, if you want to learn like how to dance in Kurdish, my recommendation, wear like sports shoes because you will be tired.
You will be tired, but it deserves it. It's just one day in a year.
Sarah, is there any way that we can help you or I can help you? Do you need us to bring anything? Or what sort of clothes to wear? Could you please advise?
Yeah, just come with your friend and family and join us and see what we are doing. That's what I want from you guys. I like Dab, anyone from city, but especially Dab because like we are very diverse, each one from different countries. Just let your friend and family know. Maybe it's gonna be a little wait in a short, like in a line, if you have more people inside the tent, because it's gonna be limit people inside the tent, but we have different station outside to hang out and some other places they're gonna be there to share resources. So it's gonna be fun time.
Okay, and what about what to wear?
How about your traditional clothes?
Okay.
I'd love to see that because my community, they will wear Kurdish clothes. And I imagine many Jays coming with Iranian clothes and come to the stage and sing a song to me. Manager?
Yes, I'm going to wear my traditional
clothing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much and hope to see you. Sure. If you can make it, please be there. Thank you, Shara. I think we're all very excited for your event and it'll be a fun activity for us all to do together. After 1 year being quarantined, please just come out, fresh air. Thank you. Excellent. Alexis, do you want to provide your staff updates for us?
I do. I'm going to share screen. I sent this to you all just as the meeting was started, so if you haven't seen it yet, that's why. So just very briefly, we are currently recruiting for our next BOLD class, the Beaverton Organizing and Leadership Development program that we do every year with Unite Oregon. So if you or someone you know is interested in participating in this leadership program, please apply or let us know right away. We're trying to close applications next Friday. There's still space in this year's class, so please check that out. Of course, Kurdish New Year, we're very excited for that. We also have another event happening on March 20th, which is a racial justice talk with famous author, nationally acclaimed author, Carol Anderson, who wrote the book White Rage, The Unspoken Truth of Our Racial Divide. So we have the honor of hosting her at the library through a virtual presentation. So that's in the evening. So after you go to Shara's event, then you can tune in at home at 6 p.m. to listen to her speak and ask questions. We have our Welcoming Week grants that are open now for organizations or groups of people that want to get a grant to support an event that they want to host as part of Beaverton Welcoming Week. We do that we celebrate the Welcoming Week every September. This year it's from the 11th through the 20th, and happy to answer any more questions. But just so you know, Ahmed and his organization have participated in this way before. Shara's event is actually postponed from last year's Welcoming Week. So lots of knowledge on the board as well about Welcoming Week and what that, and many of the rest of you who have participated in volunteering and supporting that week. But so those grants are open right now. We're looking for community partners to host some anchor events for that week. The Cash Oregon tax site is open currently. It has been open. They are completely slammed, so they're probably going to extend their services even beyond the traditional April 15th date. But just so you know, they are doing both tax assistance and some free financial workshops. And so we have a couple of those still coming up. So got some information there about that. And then, so those are kind of our program, Cultural Inclusion and Community Services program updates that I wanted you all to know about. The city news update, which is what is shared with all boards and commissions and neighborhood associations from our public information folks. It highlights four different things, I believe. One is the state of the city. If you all didn't see, the video premiered last Thursday. Mayor Beatty's first address, and there were lots of community members that were also highlighted in that video. So you can, it was live streamed, but it's recorded and available in English and Spanish on social media and the city's website. I think you all know there is a special election in May for Council Position 1. The deadline to file for folks who are interested in running for that position is March 18th. So you have some information about that. We've also heard just a bit tonight about the Public Safety Center plaza naming. Just wanted to say again, Raman volunteered to be a part of that committee, so thank you. And as was mentioned earlier tonight, there is currently I guess it's not really a survey, but a forum collecting suggestions for the names for that plaza. So you can submit a suggestion on the website using that link, or if you want to share that with other folks as well. And so you got a couple of guidelines there, and then the committee will sort of sort through those and make some recommendations to City Council later this year. And then finally, we heard earlier about the city manager recruitment, but just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that that position is now open. And there is a survey connected with that to gather input on what we're looking for in a permanent city manager. Any questions or anything I can clarify about those announcements? All right, great. That's all.
All right, the last thing that I have for you guys tonight is just a quick update on the April Voters Forum. We are officially a co-sponsor of that Voters Forum that's coming up on April 29th. And again, that will feature the vacant city council seat as well as the 3 THPRD board positions. And so what I'm asking of you all is to submit any questions you have for the candidates to me by our next board meeting, which is April 12th. We did have several of our questions selected for the voters forum last year. So yeah, get those submissions to me and I'll get them over to BCCI, who are the ones that put on the voters forum. So remember to send those, to email those to me. That's all I have. Rehana, you have something?
Sorry. Another event which I got an email about was this community-wide conversations around race. Do you know anything about that? I think Mayor Lacey is presenting, and there's 35 breakout sessions. It's on March 10th from 4:30 to 6:30, which is quite interesting if people want to join in. Do you have any details about that, Alexis?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Southridge High School is hosting for the second year in a row this community conversations on race. So last year, 3 members of the DAB hosted a table group or a breakout session at this event. And we shared just some really high level information about this in January, and to ask if the board wanted to pull together people, but we didn't get enough interest for that, but that's okay. If you all want to attend, absolutely, it's an open event, and I'm happy to send you the link for that as well. There's information posted on the school board page and also has gone out through city social media. And yeah, Mayor Beatty, Cynthia Moffett, and I are going to be on a panel at the event, as well as you said, a ton of pretty incredible looking sessions. So that is coming up from, I believe it's at 4:30 on Wednesday, 4 to 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
All right, any other last tidbits before we say goodnight? Okay, well, I guess we'll all see each other on March 20th at Cher's event.
Love you all, and see you next year. Love you all. Thank you for everything. It was a beautiful, productive meeting as always.
And be Rosebet.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you, Alexis.